All 3 parts are in the link in the description.
Live from the Golden Triangle stage in the middle of God knows where, it's the Marvel Nerd 2016's Top 7 Best Movies of 2023, with your host, the Marvel Nerd 2016, who just got teleported here out of nowhere.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the top 7 best movies of 2023. And now, if you're wondering why I am behind a Oscar-like stage, it's because last week I was randomly teleported here. So, yeah, and for some reason I am wearing a suit and I'm holding a fake Oscar. So in this list I have decided to cheat a bit because the previous 3 were top 6, but this time I'm doing top 7 is because it was quite difficult actually, because a lot of great movies came out last year, and decided to put a spin to it. So and also, during number 1, when I announced the number 1 best movie of 2023, it is going to get this shiny Marvelous Award, or the shiny Marvelous Award for number 1 movie of 2023. So, make sure to stay tuned for that, and let's kick off this list with number 7. Coming in at number 7, we got John Wick Chapter 4. Now, this film was a absolute blast. All of the action scenes in the movie were absolutely fun to watch. As usual with the John Wick films, Keanu Reeves climbs back into the shoes of John Wick to continue kicking butt for one final time. Man, I felt so shocked at the end of the movie, spoilers ahead, when they kill off John Wick, because at first I thought that John Wick Chapter 4 was gonna be part 1, and John Wick Chapter 5, like, they were both meant to be 2-parters. And as soon as they killed off John Wick, like, I was in complete shock. But the cinematography in the film was absolutely stunning. Every single shot of Paris, Tokyo, the desert, it looked absolutely incredible. And I also really liked some of the new characters in the film. Like, for example, we have the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård, aka Pennywise the Dancing Clown. I really liked him as the villain of the movie. Like, he really captured this essence of a mob boss, or this assassination crew leader, of him wanting to kill John Wick. And Donnie Yen was also, Donnie Yen's character, Kane, he was also really fun in the film. Like, I absolutely enjoyed his character of him being this badass blind man. And honestly, all of his action scenes were fun to watch. And hell, at times my brain was thinking, how is he doing this? But then when he puts out those little sound things, I'm like, oh, that's how he fights. Man, he's a badass. But how is he going to take on John Wick, though? Who knows? By the end of the movie, they do sort of team up at the end. In the past John Wick movies, all of them have been very brutal, and this one takes it to the extreme, especially that one scene where the Marquis stabs Mr. Nobody's hand, and oh my god. I ain't gonna go further with this, like with Equalizer 3, but I'm just gonna slowly describe it. It's
Yeah.
It really sucks that we're never gonna get another John Wick film, but John Wick will always be remembered as 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 the best action chronology of our time. So, yeah. John Wick Chapter 4 gets a 9.3 out of 10. I did wanted to give the movie a higher rating, but I do have like a few sort of nitpicks in the movie. At times, I did not know what the goal was at times, but then it did get explained, and also most of some of the scenes in the movie did felt a little bit dragged. But not super duper dragged, where it's like, oh, when is this gonna end? Nah, it's not like that, but it's like, maybe this could have been a bit shorter, but yeah, but overall, I had fun with it. And as soon as the credits rolled, I was like, oh, that was good. That was really, really, really good. And yeah, I really hope that that there's gonna be like more John Wick spin-offs and stuff, which, speaking of, this year there's going to be a new Ballerina movie coming out, which is meant to take place somewhere in the John Wick world. But I mean, I think we did sort of got a taste of that in John Wick 3. But yeah, I am looking forward to it, and hopefully they make like a origin movie for John Wick, like how was he entered as a assassin or something like that. But technically we already have that because we have the TV show, but I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, let's dive into number 6. Coming in at number 6, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, before diving into Mutant Mayhem, when I first heard about the movie, I did felt quite hyped, especially because it was going to be another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated film, and also we finally got to take a break from the ugly Michael Bay films. But when I was thinking of the animation style, at first I thought that they were gonna go with 2D animation or something like that. Like, I don't know why. Like, I was picturing in my head like 2D animation. But then, when I saw some of the footage that was being revealed at the Kids' Choice Awards, and I was thinking, oh, the animation looks good. But it kind of looks similar to Spider-Verse though. Then when the trailer came out, I was thinking, yeah, Spider-Verse has done a massive change in the animation industry, where everybody wants to use the animation style that Spider-Verse used. But yeah, Mutant Mayhem was a absolute blast of a movie. I enjoyed the voice acting in the film, and what I really liked about Mutant Mayhem is that they were actually played by real teenagers. So instead of the turtles being played by like 20-ish-year-olds and stuff, because you actually got to hear it in their voices that they're teenagers and stuff, and and also, I know this is animation, but whatever. But the shots in the film looked absolutely stunning in the movie. Not Spider-Verse level stunning, or something else coming up in the list, but overall, it did look very good at times. Some of my nitpicks with Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is that some of the background characters did look very ugly at times, and at times it was a bit of a distraction, but overall I had fun with Mutant Mayhem. And what I'm shocked about is that how the hell did they not nominate this for Best Animated Feature? Man, over here this is better than the Oscars, because we already talking about John Wick and Mutant Mayhem, and they haven't nominated any of those. But character of April O'Neil in Mutant Mayhem, I didn't really mind it too much of her race swap in the movie, but personally I am kind of fed up with these race swaps. Personally, like, I get it that they're trying to show like representation, but take a look at Miles Morales. He's not Peter Parker, but if Peter Parker was black, like, he was his own character. Like, sure, he was still Spider-Man, but he was his own character. The character of April O'Neil, honestly, I think her character was decent. Like, I liked how she was a bit shy at times, but at the same time she did have this frenzy essence, and man, at times when I was watching a Ninja Turtles, like, it actually felt like if I was in school speaking with my friends and stuff, because the way how they talk in the movie, and especially because it was very unexpected how a Ninja Turtles movie would say words like sus and Riz. The main villain in Mutant Mayhem, Superfly, although I was never familiar with the character, but I thought he was really cool. And Ice Cube did an amazing job voice acting Superfly, and everybody else with these other mutant characters, like, okay, I forgot some of their names, but the one which Paul Rudd played, he was like this gecko, I think, and he was riding on a skateboard, and he was interacting with Mikey, and he was like, broski, bro, but I like that. Man, this movie was so cool. I absolutely enjoyed Mutant Mayhem. At times, like I said, with the human characters, it was, like, the animation was wonky at times, but overall, like, I really enjoyed it, and, yeah, hell, I even watched it the second time, and honestly, when I watched it the second time, it felt even better than my first viewing, because when I came out of it, I thought, wow, this was really good for a Ninja Turtles movie. Sure, a few nitpicks here and there, but it was really good. So, yeah, my final score for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is a 9.5 out of 10. I had fun with Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I really hope that they make a sequel to this, because, spoiler warning, but the ending, though, that post-credit scene when they teased Shredder, chef's kiss. I need a trilogy. I need a trilogy of this. Just like with Spider-Verse, I need a trilogy with this. And the Oscars, how the hell did you not nominate this? Coming in at number 5, we got The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. Man, this movie was a tearjerker. That's what I'm going to say. This movie was an absolute tearjerker. Now, if you're wondering what The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry is about, it basically follows this old man called Harold Fry, who hears news about his friend Queenie, who is dying from cancer. And to see Queenie one last time, he's going to walk all the way to the hospital. But except this hospital is in a completely different city. So he's walking from city to city in England to see Queenie one last time. And people start to notice him, thinking, "What? Why is he doing this? He has been walking the entire length of England. Why is he doing this?" He starts becoming popular to the public eye, because of everybody thinking, "Why is he doing this? Is he doing this for some kind of cause? Why? Why is he doing this?" Honestly, before hearing about The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, I didn't even hear like an announcement of the film. Like, at first the movie wasn't in my radar at all until I watched Tar with my mom. And before Tar played, there was a trailer for The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And bro, it made my mom cry. Like, it actually made her cry. And that's when I thought to myself, yeah, I should go see this movie. I should go see this movie. Man, this looks like a masterpiece. Let's go see this movie. And yeah, April hits. Me and my mom go watch The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And I remember coming out of this movie thinking, wow, this movie was a masterpiece. And hell, in my notes, I was making my Oscar predictions. And hell, I was really thinking that this movie was going to get some Oscar nominations. But I'm surprised how not even like a single award show has even given The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry any nominations. Because, honestly, this movie deserves some awards nominations, but, you know, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? But yeah, the actor who plays Harold Fry, honestly, he kills it. Like, he does a Oscar-worthy performance in the movie because you could see his emotions, like his desperation of wanting to see a good friend one last time, but meanwhile he has to go through this long journey with no cars, no bus, just his feet. Y'all know what I mean by feet. Y'all know what I mean by feet because he's walking. Because he's walking. The performances in this movie were outstanding, and the cinematography looked absolutely beautiful. Seeing all of the shots of Derbyshire and Sheffield and plenty of other cities that are in England, and yeah, I honestly had a blast watching The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. Like, this is probably one of the best British films which I've seen last year. So yeah, my final score for The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry gets probably a 10 out of 10. This might be the first 10 out of 10 because honestly I didn't really have any nitpicks in the film. I honestly think that this was one of the best movies of 2023. I do really wish that I could have put this this lower, but yeah, again, like I said before, it was very difficult making the best list because a lot of great movies came out this year. And I decided, you know what, screw it, I'll just do top 7 best movies of 2023. So yeah, I really hope that more people go watch The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And if this is your first time hearing about the movie, then go watch it. Go watch it. It is absolutely amazing. So yeah, let's dive into number 4.
Coming in at number 4, we got Godzilla Minus One. So, before diving into Godzilla Minus One, at first, the movie wasn't on my radar up until I was hearing about a new Godzilla movie. And then I was like, oh, a new Toho Godzilla film. Man, this looks pretty good. Like the CGI and everything. This was actually like my first ever Japanese film, which I watched without an English dub. Because everywhere I heard that this was the best Godzilla film, and not just that, but also you gotta connect with the characters, and it's not like the MonsterVerse films where you're mainly here just for the big kaiju action and all of that. But in this movie, you do get the kaiju action. But at the same time, you do care about the characters in this movie. And honestly, that's what I really loved about Godzilla Minus One, is that, like, you actually get to care about the characters. Like, you see the growth between the character of, I forgot his name, but he was the most memorable character in the movie, along with the other characters in the film, which, again, I can't remember, but man, I gotta give this movie a rewatch at some point. But yeah, if you guys are unfamiliar of the plot of Godzilla Minus One, it's about a kamikaze pilot where he quits doing it because, he just wants to go home because, but then, straight after the Hiroshima bombing, Godzilla rises, and then Godzilla attacks his team, and then, he attacks the team, and then he is traumatized by Godzilla, and then he ends up in a village in Japan, where he meets a lady who has this baby, but this woman didn't give birth to the baby, so yeah. But meanwhile, Godzilla's out here destroying cities and shit, and man, this movie really reminded me of Jaws, where you got to care about the characters. Like, sure, you did get the suspense of, like, the shark scenes where it's dun 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 dun. There's a shark, but you didn't just came here to see the shark. You also came here to care about the characters. And bro, in this movie, this was the first ever Godzilla film to make me feel emotional. I remember, I was in the movie, I was already tearing up in the movie. I'm not gonna spoil anything in the movie, but it happens in the final act. I was like, and man, no Godzilla movie in the freaking American Godzilla films have ever done that, because, man, y'all remember 2014 Godzilla? Most of the characters in that movie were so boring. I'm talking boring. When it came to the MonsterVerse films, I've mostly seen Godzilla, Skull Island, and Godzilla vs. Kong. In all three of the movies which I've seen from the MonsterVerse films, I never particularly cared about any of the characters. I didn't root for them to survive, or I was never like, oh my god, please don't kill this guy, please don't kill this guy, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But in this one, I felt just that. Where you cared about the characters. And bro, the scene where Godzilla was stomping on the people, at times it felt very, very scary at times. Bro, Godzilla himself was also terrifying as well, because he was legit angry and shit, and they actually treated him like if he was a villain and stuff. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla Minus One is probably one of the best Godzilla movies I ever seen. I think this is the only great Godzilla movie which I've seen, because outside of the MonsterVerse films, I never came out of a MonsterVerse movie thinking, oh, this movie was incredible, or oh, the human characters were spectacular and stuff. But in this one, goddamn. But yeah, and also, I did also manage to understand what the goal was in Godzilla Minus One, because usually when it comes to like foreign films with subtitles, for me it used to be very difficult, because then I'd have to pause it and then okay, and then as I was saying, but since recently I have started to read like a bunch of books this year, and hell, in December I recently watched Untouchable, which is an incredible French movie, and I did manage to understand what was going on in the movie without the need of pausing and then and when I watched Godzilla Minus One in the cinema, I understood what was going on, and yeah, I love Godzilla Minus One. I know that I gave The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry a 10 out of 10, but honestly, I don't think the movie has any flaws. Like, at times, the way how Godzilla moved, at times it was just a little bit goofy at times, but it's just a nitpick. But overall, this was the best Godzilla film which I've seen in a long while, and I really hope that they make more sequels for Godzilla Minus One. Like, the way how it's set up, that spoiler, actually, I don't even want to say any I don't even want to say any spoilers for this, because honestly, if you haven't seen Godzilla Minus One, go watch it. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, but yeah, my final score for Godzilla Minus One is a 9.9 out of 10. I had an absolute blast watching Godzilla Minus One, and again, I really hope that this gets a sequel, because since it's called Minus One, maybe the next movie could be called Godzilla Number One. But yeah, on to the next movie. Coming in number 3, we got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is kind of obvious because I'm wearing the mask, and I'm not gonna be able to wear this for the entire video. But yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, after the 5-year-long wait of the amazing masterpiece that was Into the Spider-Verse. Man, this movie amps the animation, the story, the multiverse, and also we even got a new theme from the Prowler theme from to, and I use that as my alarm. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse was absolutely fun. Honestly, I liked that in the movie, this was more of like a Gwen storyline compared to a Miles storyline. So what I really liked is that Gwen got her growth. Like, we got to see her world and stuff, and man, the way how this was handled was just chef's kiss. It was chef's kiss. But yeah, Spider-Man 2099 was also a menace in this movie. And what else? And the Spot. Oh, bro. This is how you should treat a villain. Sure, he may sound a bit stupid, but at least make him threatening, though. Make him threatening. And I'm looking at you, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, you know what you did with MODOK. You know what you did with MODOK, but with this. In this movie, Spot is, like, sure, at first, he seemed like the butt of the joke. But then, later on in the movie, we got build up and build up and build up, and then goddamn, because then that's when Spot really felt like a threat, and and even the music too is also yeah, even the music too also gave me the goosebumps. Like, I was getting the chills left and right, and oh my goodness, I'm shocked how this movie has the runtime of 2 hours and 20 minutes. But man, this movie goes in a very fast pace. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And Miles, man, in this movie, they really upscaled his character from being this swag teenager where beta my radioactive spider, and then, oh man, I don't know if I could do this, but then leap of faith. That was the first movie, but in this movie, they amp him up a bit, and bro, Spider-Man 2099 does him dirty, especially because he can't even save his own father. Spoilers ahead. Another thing which I loved about Across the Spider-Verse was the score. Honestly, man, what the hell, Oscars? Why do you nominate this? Why do you nominate this, man? This is better than the Oscars. This is better than the Oscars, man. Fuck the Oscars. Fuck the Oscars. But yeah, the score in Across the Spider-Verse was absolutely top tier. In this, like, especially Gwen's theme. Man, Gwen's theme hits hard, and also, man, don't get me started on the intro, cause the intro, bro, like, I remember after when I came out of Across the Spider-Verse, like, I already went on Spotify and listened to the soundtrack and the intro where the drumming, where it's like dun 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 dun. But yeah, I had an absolute blast with Across the Spider-Verse. But there are a few problems with the movie, like, especially, like, I get it that this is part one, but the way how, okay, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, but if you haven't, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, the video clearly says contains spoilers. So, what are you doing? Go watch Across the Spider-Verse right freaking now. Alright. So, I remember when the cliffhanger rolls in. Like, I was feeling the excitement, and I was already like, oh shit, we about to get a climax. And oh my god. The Miles. The Prowler Miles, like, they got Miles now. Man, this is about to be a sick climax, but then roll credits, and then I was like, what? And I remember watching this with my girlfriend, and my girlfriend was sitting next to me like this. Babe? Is that it? Is that it? But man, like, I remember I was speechless. I was absolutely speechless. But at the same time, though, what really sucks is that originally, Beyond the Spider-Verse was meant to come out literally in about 2 months, or next month by the time this video drops. But honestly, I'm just desperate for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I am waiting very patiently for that movie to release, but hopefully it doesn't take them another 5 freaking years. Like, brother, I'm gonna be 20 by the time this comes out. It's crazy. But yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was an amazing Spider-Man movie from this year. And yes, this is how you do a Spider-Man movie. This is how you do a Spider-Man multiverse movie. Or better yet, this is how you do a multiverse movie in general. I'm looking at you, Multiverse of Madness. But that should have just been called One Multiverse, or Multiverse of One. Because they literally stay in that one universe for the entire freaking movie. Okay, anyways, we ain't on about Multiverse of Madness. Get the hell out of it. Oh. So yeah, my final score for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a 9.9 out of 10. I had an absolute blast with this movie. Just like with Into the Spider-Verse. I still think Into the Spider-Verse is a better movie, but I still loved Across the Spider-Verse. And yeah, I really hope that Phil Lord and Miller make more movies like this with this kind of animation style. And Beyond the Spider-Verse, please don't take too long. Please don't take too long, man. I'm desperate. I want to know what's going to happen to Miles. I want to know what's going to happen to my boy Miles, man. But yeah, let's dive into number 2. Coming in at number 2, we got Killers of the Flower Moon. Before diving into Killers of the Flower Moon, when I first heard that Martin Scorsese is going to direct a movie about some tragic event happening during the 1920s, where members of the Osage have been getting murdered, and this was like the first FBI investigation. Like, I was stoked, but I was a bit too concerned about the 3-hour and 26-minute long runtime. But after when I watched Oppenheimer, and I remember when I saw a trailer for Killers of the Flower Moon, at first, I wasn't super familiar with the story of the Osage murders. But I remember, before I went to go see Killers of the Flower Moon, I remember I did make like a deep dive on the story and the tragic Osage murders that took place during the 1920s, and honestly, I was horrified. And most of what happens in this movie is quite disturbing at times, because you know that it's based off on a true story, but at the same time, you kind of don't even want to believe it. But at the same time, all of this is real and stuff. But yeah, I had fun watching Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, it really felt like if I went back in time to the 1920s and experiencing all of the horror and the tragedy that took place in the Osage murders. And yeah, man, Leonardo DiCaprio jumps back playing as Ernest Burkhart. And bro, in this entire movie, I did not see him as DiCaprio. In the entire movie, I saw him as the dirty, disgusting man, Ernest Burkhart. And Lily Gladstone, oh my goodness. Give her the Oscar, man. Give her the Oscar. I really want her to win Best Actress in a Leading Role, because honestly, the way how she pulls off the emotion, playing as Molly Burkhart, feeling the trauma and the mysteriousness, just thinking, why is my family, like members of my family and my entire community, being killed one by one by one? And oh my goodness, bro. Again, the way how this movie is based off on like a true story, but it feels so realistic that it kind of scars you a bit. Like, when I left Killers of the Flower Moon, all of the shit that happens in this movie was ingrained in my head. Like, all of the kills, all of the court cases and investigations that took place. And it was a really wild movie. And hell, believe it or not, I may sound like a loser, but this was actually my first ever Martin Scorsese film. Yeah, I know. Y'all could boo at me, I know. Oh, whoa, chill. Okay, chill. There was no reason to throw that tomato at me. Chill. But yeah, Martin Scorsese is now one of my favorite movie directors of all time, because like the way how the movie is nearly 4 hours long, but you feel synced into this story. Like you feel like you time traveled back into the 1920s. Like I said earlier, seeing all of the horror and the murders taking place, and you're just thinking, why is this all happening? But at the same time, there's one tiny nitpick in the movie. It did kind of suck that that we only got the perspectives of the killers in this movie. But I mean, we did get like a few glimpses of Molly and how she felt so confused, so scared, thinking, why are my family members being killed one by one? Who is doing this? Why are they doing this? What do they want? But we do get a taste of that, and it's again, this movie is very disturbing. But yeah, I absolutely loved the cinematography in Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it was one of the best cinematographies I've seen in a film, along with another movie that's coming up later on the list. Don't know why I did that voice. But yeah, the set design was also incredible in this movie. How it uses all of the old like snap cameras, where like before all this digital stuff, it was all shot on film, or maybe not film. I don't know. I'm not really like an expert on cameras throughout time and stuff. But yeah, the soundtrack in the movie was also incredible. Rest in peace, Robbie Robertson. You will be missed. So yeah, my final score for Killers of the Flower Moon is a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I had an absolute don't really want to say full on blast, considering this movie did scar me for life, but I had a great time watching the movie and just seeing all of the tragedy take place in this true event. Like, honestly, this movie was more scary than Insidious: The Red Door. Yeah. I ain't even joking. It was more scarier than Insidious: The Red Door. And speaking of, this Christmas, my sister even got me the Killers of the Flower Moon book. And when I was reading this, the book is much more scarier, because like you envision all of this stuff in your mind. And I remember I was reading this at night, and I wasn't even able to go to sleep. So yeah, let's dive into number 1, aka the big one, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the drum roll. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the big part of the night. The number 1 movie, the number 1 best movie of 2023. So, y'all been waiting for this, and yeah, and instead of getting a envelope just like the rest of these award shows, I decided to put it in my Batman vs Superman notes. So yeah, and the number one best movie of 2023 goes to.
How long is this going to take?
Oppenheimer. Alright, here you go, a JPEG of Christopher Nolan. Here you go. Take this award.
Thank you very much. I kind of wasn't expecting to win the Marvelous Award for number one movie of 2023. To all the other movies on this list, you all are spectacular motion pictures to be seen last year. You were all great. I'd like to give a huge thank you to my lad Cillian Murphy for playing the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and thank you Robert Downey Jr. for playing Strauss, and everyone that worked on this movie with me. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Although I'm not the real Christopher Nolan, let's hope I finally win my Oscar on March. We're looking forward to make more mind-bending masterpieces. Okay, Marvel nerd, you can take over.
Thank you, Christopher Nolan, for that amazing speech. Now, let's talk about your amazing movie. So, Oppenheimer. After the 3-year-long wait for Christopher Nolan's next movie, we got Oppenheimer. Like, before diving into the movie, when I first heard that Christopher Nolan was going to make a movie about this guy who developed the first atomic bomb, I was stoked, especially after that amazing war movie Dunkirk, which you can watch on my channel. But yeah, with a 3-hour runtime, I wasn't bothered about it too much. But honestly, this movie blew me away. No pun intended. Honestly, Cillian Murphy did a spectacular job playing as J. Robert Oppenheimer. Especially because, like, in his face, you saw how at first he felt confident and hell, even excited to build the atomic bomb, to use it on the Nazis during World War II. But then since Hitler died and then the war ended, and the Japanese weren't surrendering at the time, so that's when Oppenheimer was like, you know what, we about to drop this on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Spoilers, well, kind of not necessarily spoiler, especially because I'm pretty sure most of y'all have probably learned about Oppenheimer in history classes. But yeah, the cinematography in this movie was absolutely jaw-dropping, and the scenes of how we got to see like glimpses of how an atom would look like and how they would split and all of this and all of these like little shots, especially the one where it's like light spinning and stuff, and then Ludwig Göransson steps back in, making another banger score straight after Tenet, with the I listen to that every single day. But yeah, I absolutely loved Oppenheimer. I think this was the best movie of 2023. Emily Blunt also did an amazing performance playing as Kitty Oppenheimer. It did kind of suck that we didn't got to see that much screen time for Emily Blunt's character, Kitty, but at least we got a respectful amount. And bro, the makeup in this movie was absolutely insane, especially because hell, Hell, I couldn't even recognize most of the time that Robert Downey Jr. Was in this movie because like the first time when I watched Oppenheimer, and then when Louis Strauss came into the mix, with all this makeup, I didn't saw him as Robert Downey Jr. I didn't see my boy Iron Man. No. I saw him as Louis Strauss about to kick Oppenheimer's ass. But yeah, I didn't mind it too much that this movie was a courtroom film, but most of the time it did felt very interesting. Like you were invested all the way through. A minor nitpick in the movie, there were like a few bits in the film where I do wish that they could have cut out a bit. But overall, I absolutely loved Oppenheimer. The movie gave me chills every second. And hell, the movie was also kind of terrifying at times. Especially that scene where Oppenheimer was going up the stage, and then he was like, "I'm so proud, so proud." But then you could see like the fear in his face of what he caused. And then next minute, we see everyone clapping and cheering, but then as soon as he leaves the stage, he sees like people crying and suffering. And I remember seeing this part at the cinema. Like, honestly, it felt very horrifying at times. Like I was already getting the goosebumps and the chills. But yeah, I absolutely loved Oppenheimer. I really hope that this wins all of the Oscars next month during March. And yeah, my final score for Oppenheimer is a 10 out of 10. Three 10 out of 10s in a row. And yeah. And bro, I've seen Oppenheimer 4 times. My first viewing of the movie, I was absolutely jaw-dropped. And then the second time when I watched Oppenheimer, I did notice like tons of key details in the film which I completely missed from my first viewing. But I remember at the ending of the movie when Oppenheimer went to Albert Einstein, and Oppenheimer said this. Wait, Albert, when I was calculating those nuclear chain reactions, I think we might have caused the world to end or something like that. And then Albert says, "I remember it well." And then Oppenheimer said, "I believe we have." And bro, I remember after watching that movie, it almost nearly scarred me for life, especially because this movie kind of also did a what if. Like, what if Oppenheimer built like a bigger bomb and then set it straight towards the world? But it's sort of not like that, especially because that scene was meant to represent the apology video which Oppenheimer said after when he dropped those bombs on Hiroshima. "Now I've become death, the destroyer of worlds." And bro, and then after seeing that movie, now that line makes absolute sense. But except he didn't blow up the entire world, thankfully. But yeah, Oppenheimer was an absolute blast. I enjoyed the film. Sure, at times the movie did felt a little slow here and there, but overall, I absolutely enjoyed the film. So yeah, thank you all for coming. These fake people from stock footages and stuff. Thank you all for coming, and everyone watching at home or wherever you are. Thank you for watching all 4 of the videos. I appreciate it. Same time next year? I think so. Okay. Now, it's time to teleport back home. Take me away, the best gods. I don't know why I call you guys this, but whatever. Whoa. That felt much weirder than it was before. But anyways, thank you guys for watching my top 7 best movies of 2023. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to do this list for you guys next year. And maybe this time I'll try and make them a bit shorter. So yeah, bye-bye. Oh, and Happy New Year.